The compounding student debt in America is becoming a serious matter to those wishing to obtain a college degree without immediate means of funding for their tuition and related academic expenses. Students, now more than ever, are seeing themselves forced to turn to debt in order to obtain an education. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the student loan debt has passed $1 trillion.
$1 trillion is every man, woman, and child in the U.S. And you know a lot of those little children don't have any money. A lot of the old people don't have any money. The people in prison don't have any money. A lot of people on welfare don't have any money. But if everybody walked by that hat and they put in $4,000 apiece, that would be the student debt in this country.
According to a recent Barron's article, students are not the only ones affected by student debt. The nation as a whole is being impacted by the student debt of America. We see this by recent graduates' resistance on forming new families, buying mortgages, or even vehicles, all since students are now seeing themselves forced to pay a large part of their paycheck towards student loan payments. This is greatly impacting the U.S. economy. But what do students think about their student loan debt? Students were asked how much they projected their final debt amount to be and how much money they will be contributing on a monthly basis towards student loan payments.
I really don't know how much I'll be spending.
I'm not sure how much money I'm gonna be paying off once I graduate.
Right now I have no idea. I just know that I'm going to be paying a lot, and
I don't even know, to be honest. I just don't know.
As is the case around the nation, many are unaware of the financial obligations that await them in the near future. But will ignorance give you a ticket out of debt?
I think if students will look at it, they'll find that the government can be fairly, aggressive in collection of that debt. It never leaves, even during bankruptcy, my advice.
Have students stopped to think about whether accruing debt is worth it in the long haul? What are students' responses when asked why they take out student loans?
I do feel worried taking out the debt, but it's investing in my education, and
It does cause me worry because that's a lot of money, but I'm trying not to think about that.
Students may think obtaining an education is an investment. However, this should not be taken for granted. The recent downturn in the economic state of our nation should have students asking the question, is student debt really worth it? We turn to a financial perspective that sheds light on the recent changes in our economy, which may have some students doubting this so-called investment down the line.
One of the troubling statistics that I came across was the fact that the cost of higher education, that is the cost of college degrees, was increasing at a rate which was about 3 to 3.5 percentage points higher than the consumer price index. So that, of course, we're looking at the cost of the investment there. It's going up 3% faster than inflation. I also looked on the other side, what are the returns from that investment? Because if the returns, if salaries were going up 3% faster than inflation, it would be okay. Salaries were only going up about 1/2 to 3/4% per year faster than inflation. So essentially you had the cost of college going up about four times faster than the return from that college degree would provide. That doesn't mean it's still not, for a lot of people it's still not good, but it means it's becoming less and less profitable.
Students may see their student loan debt as an investment even while being confronted with evidence proving the contrary. But could the basics of psychology offer an explanation as to why many are neglecting to face the current situation in the U.S. in regards to student debt? According to the theory of cognitive dissonance developed by social psychologist Leon Festinger, when two conflicting beliefs are held by an individual, one attempts to resolve the uncomfort that results from the contradictory beliefs. Some of the ways that cognitive dissonance can be reduced include focusing on positive and supportive beliefs that outweigh the dissonant belief, reducing the importance of the conflicting belief, or changing the conflicting belief so that it is consistent with other held beliefs. Denial is observed when students are asked to simply ponder the possibility of their accrued student debt and education as a worthless investment. Yet, the economy seems to be affirming just that. It is likely, then, that students are confronted with discomfort as they imagine a world in which the time, effort, and money invested, all of which were believed to be a secure investment for the future, suddenly becomes questionable. But rather than giving in to this disturbing and uncomfortable reality, students affirm the value of their education, and they do so with confidence.
Even though there's like debate about whether it is worth it to take out student loans, my point of view is that it is okay. In my point of view, I see it as an investment that is going to help me to get the education I want, to get the degree I want, and be able to get the job I want.
But can statistics support this stance? In a recent report by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, it was stated that over 20% of outstanding student loans in America were in default. That is to say that students who very likely once saw their student loan debt as an investment became unable to pay their debt. Taking into account that our current economic state reveals high unemployment rates that naturally are leading many into disappointing or unplanned career outcomes is something that many should start taking into account when making a decision to borrow money. Instead, it is suggested that students seek and put forth effort in obtaining other resources to pay for tuition and academic-related expenses. But even while many students express feeling great worry over how they will be able to make the payments once the bills start coming in, students seem uninformed of the resources that exist.
I'm not aware of the resources that are out there, and I know that I'm going to be financially in debt paying off the school.
The Department of Education website contains information on resources for managing student loan debt. Here you can find information on programs such as the income-based repayment program that allows students to make payments based on their annual income. Clearly, education is and will continue to be a priority to many for years to come. Student debt will, for decades, remain a burden to the American population. However, there are some considerations that one can take in determining whether student loans are a safe investment for one to embark on. When taking out student loans to fund your education, be sure you identify your major and do your research. The questions you should consider include: will the expected salary for the professions under your field of study be able to produce sufficient income to pay off the student loan debt? Will there be jobs available under the field of study that you've chosen? Finally, will the degree you obtain gain you entry into the job market under your field of study? Although seemingly logical, many have failed to consider these simple guidelines, which have resulted in disappointing career outcomes in which one's degree has no relevance, does not serve as an entry into the job market, and does not result in sufficient revenue to cover student loan payments. Student debt can be a burden, but don't let it be a drag on you. For Lakefront TV, Yadira Chavez.